Good morning, 7th graders. Today we're continuing in Chapter 2 with Lesson 2.8, and that is simple interest formula. So we're just starting the first part today, and we're on page 168. So if we read at the top of page 168, simple interest is the product of the principal, the annual interest rate R, and the time T expressed in years. All right, what does that all mean? If you have a savings account, the bank pays you something called interest for the use of their money. So this is the formula that we would use to find the amount of interest that will be earned. This is also something useful if you ever will own a credit card or will buy a car. And this is what goes on with that. So just jumping right in with a real world example. Number 1, Arnold puts $580 into a savings account. The account pays 3% simple interest. How much interest will he earn in each amount of time? Okay, so this formula here, I call it the PERT formula. I guess I always have a name for everything. So the interest is equal to the principal, which means that's the starting amount, times the rate, which is a percent, times time. So you know how to do all of this. We're just putting together what you know how to do in a different way. So we're going to start by circling all the information we know in example 1. So he puts $580 into a savings account. There's 3% interest. How much will he earn in starting out with 5 years? Okay, so if our formula is interest, I equals PERT, P times R times T, meaning the principal is the starting amount times the rate times the time. So the principal amount in example 1, that's what it starts with. So it starts with 580, so that is the P. And I'm just going to go ahead and just make a P just like we did with the PAW formula. So the principal is the P, not the percent. Principal is the P. The rate is the percent. So the rate is how much it goes up. That's our R. Now I'm going to write that as a decimal, 0.03 times how much time? Well, the time is 5 years, so times 5. Okay, so the principal, the starting amount, times the rate, times the time. And if I multiply that, I'm going to get the interest. 580 times 3 times 5. I get 87. So what does that mean? Well, that's $87. That means that after 5 years, Arnold will earn $87 in interest. So why is that important? Well, that means just for him putting that money in the bank and not touching it for 5 years, he'll get $87. The bank just pays you to let you use their money. Because when you deposit money in the bank, your same dollars are not physically there. So they pay you a little bit every year over time just for not touching it, for just saving your own money, just plopping it in the bank. You made some more money, which is pretty cool. All right, let's look at example 2. So what if we have less than a year? Well, it's our same principal, our same rate, but then the time is what's going to be different. So it's the same formula, I equals PERT, the simple interest formula. So I equals my principal, my starting amount is 580 still, times my interest. Now, here's where it gets tricky, because if I put 6 as my time, this is time in years, remember? T is expressed in years. So if I put 6, that's going to show 6 years, which is not accurate. So 6 months. So how many months are in a year? Well, there's 12 months in a year. So 6 out of 12 months, 6 divided by 12 would be 1/2. Well, that makes sense. 6 months is half the year. So I'm going to multiply times 0.5. You could also do, if you did the fraction button, that's fine too. You could also multiply times 1/2. I think it's easier to do decimals because I can just punch it into my calculator way faster. So same starting amount, same rate. This time we're doing 0.5 because it is 1/2 of a year. So I'm just going to multiply that out. And I get 8.7. Kind of funny there. So 8.7, this is going to be a dollar amount. So 8.7 would be $8.70. So now, just for putting that same money in the bank account and not touching it for 6 months, not even 5 years, 6 months, you make almost $9. You could, what could you do for that? You could almost go see a movie for free with that money. Not a ton of money. These rates are usually very, very small, like 5%, maybe 6 or 7%, 2%. A lot of savings accounts, I think mine is probably 2%. So not a ton of money, but it's nice to have that little reward just for saving your own money. So go ahead and do the got it A and B on your own. When you're done, raise your hand. That's probably not going to be enough space for you, so you're welcome to grab some scrap paper or a whiteboard to figure that out. When you're done, raise your hand, and I'll get you a sticker. Remember, you're plugging in the formula. Interest equals the principal, the starting amount, times the rate, which is the percent, times time in years. Right? Good luck, 7th grade.